I always believed anniversaries were meant to celebrate how far you'd grown together, not to remind you of how far you drifted apart. 12 years. That's what Megan and I were marking that evening. At least, that's what I thought when I booked a table at Lavana, the same Italian restaurant where I'd asked her to marry me. Every detail was meant to feel familiar. A quiet corner, candlelight flickering, the same bottle of red we'd opened the night I proposed. Megan looked stunning, effortlessly so. Her soft blue dress flowed around her, hair loose, a delicate diamond pendant resting just above her collarbone. Yet there was something in her gaze that didn't belong, a distance, a distracted glimmer I couldn't ignore no matter how hard I tried. "Happy anniversary," I said, raising my glass. She smiled, but it barely reached her eyes. 12 years, she murmured, touching her glass to mine. "Feels like forever, doesn't it?" The words sounded less like celebration and more like a question. I smiled anyway, attempting to keep the mood light. I brought up old trips, the home we'd built, the laughter we'd shared. She replied perfectly, laughed at the right moments, nodded where expected. But her eyes kept straying to her phone, lying face down beside her plate as though it were holding something far more interesting than me. Halfway through dinner, she excused herself to the restroom. I watched her leave, noting that same confident walk I had always admired. Around me, the restaurant hummed softly with conversation, clinking glasses, low music. Everything seemed ordinary, normal. Then my phone buzzed, a text from my brother Ethan. "You still at Lavana?" "Yeah." "Why? You might want to check outside. You've got company." A chill ran through me. Ethan didn't joke like this. I muttered something to the waiter and made my way past the kitchen to the side door. The moment I stepped outside, the cool night air hit like a slap. And there she was. Megan stood by a black car at the far edge of the lot. The door was open, and a man leaned against it. Tall, broad, painfully familiar. Tyler, my business partner, my best man. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. They hadn't seen me. Megan's smile was real, the one she hadn't worn in months. She touched his arm lightly, said something that made him laugh. He brushed a stray hair from her face, a small gesture that felt far too intimate. I just froze. The sounds from inside blurred until all I could hear was my own heartbeat. I stepped back slowly, unseen, and returned inside. Candlelight had dwindled, the wine grown warm. Nothing looked different, yet everything had changed. When Megan returned, she smiled as if nothing had occurred. "Sorry," she said, unfolding her napkin. There was a line. I stared at her, wondering how someone could lie so effortlessly while meeting your eyes. The rest of dinner passed in fragments. Her voice, my silence, the quiet rhythm of cutlery against plates. I paid the bill, thanked the waiter, and we walked out hand in hand, like any couple ending a pleasant evening. But inside me, something had cracked. The drive home was silent. Megan leaned against the window, her phone glowing faintly. I kept my hand steady on the wheel, my voice calm when I finally asked, "Tired?" She didn't look up. "Long week," she said softly. "It used to be, I missed you." Lately, it had always been the same excuse. "I'm tired." I wondered if Tyler ever heard that, or if somehow she found her energy when she was with him. At home, she went straight upstairs without a word. I lingered in the kitchen, staring at my reflection in the dark window. The house felt alien now, colder, emptier. Walls that once echoed with laughter and late-night talks now held only silence, and the lies we pretended not to notice. I wanted to confront her, demand answers. Why him? Why tonight, our anniversary? But I remained motionless. There's a kind of ache that doesn't burn, it hollows you out. Anger was gone. Only emptiness remained. When I finally went upstairs, she was already in bed, eyes closed, pretending to sleep. I lay beside her, inches away, yet she felt worlds apart. The woman who had been my home had become a stranger. The next morning, I woke before her. I sat on the bed's edge, taking in the remnants of our life together. The jewelry box, honeymoon photo, her perfume bottle. Everything looked unchanged, yet none of it mattered anymore. When she stirred, she smiled faintly. "You're up early." "Yeah," I said. "Couldn't sleep." She stretched. "You okay?" I looked at her. The woman I had loved for over a decade, the one I had built my life around. And in that instant, she felt like someone I used to know. "I'm fine," I said quietly. For the first time, it was true. I skipped work that day. I drove to the lake we had once visited every Sunday and sat for hours, watching the calm, steady water, untouched by everything that had crumbled in my life. It reminded me of who I had been before love became duty instead of desire. By afternoon, my mind was made up. Returning home, Megan was at the dining table, laptop open, coffee in hand. "Hey," she said casually. "I was thinking maybe we could go to your mom's this weekend." "Sure," I said, "but I'll take my own car." Her face puzzled. "Why?" I met her gaze. "Because after that, I'm not coming back." Her face went pale. "What are you talking about?" "I saw you last night," I said softly, "outside the restaurant." She froze. No excuses, no words, only silence. And that silence spoke everything I needed to know. I spent years believing love could survive anything if you just kept trying. I gave it everything I had. But deep down, we both knew it was over long ago. Her eyes welled up. It's not what you think. I almost laughed. Then what is it? She said nothing. I picked up my keys, glancing around the house one last time. Photos, the couch where we once fell asleep, the kitchen where we danced barefoot at midnight. All memories of another lifetime. At the door, she whispered, "So that's it." I turned back. "This isn't revenge, Megan. It's peace. You made your choice. I'm just finally making mine." Then I left. The evening air was cool, still almost sacred. As I started the car and drove away, the house faded from view. For the first time in years, I felt no weight from what I was leaving, only the lightness of what lay ahead. Freedom. And as the house lights disappeared behind me, I realized, sometimes the bravest thing isn't fighting to keep someone. It's finding the courage to let go and finally walk away.